What are we discussing today? We are discussing the presidential candidates of the All Progressives Congress, APC, that's Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's concern on the issue of the Naira redesign or cash policy, the deadline, and the fuel scarcity. Of course, you would recall that at a particular campaign ground in Ogun State, he had said or alleged that this whole thing was, a ploy to scuttle, as it were, his chances at the election. But of course, the APC yesterday came on to let us know that that particular statement is not an attack, as it were, on the APC administration, because of course that statement from Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu had generated a lot of reactions, with some saying he's beginning to, see the reality of the moment, and with some saying that even his attack on the party that he's also a candidate on will not better his chances. So what exactly is this statement? Is it an attack on the current administration? Is it a statement of fact? What are the likely implications of this statement from the APC presidential candidate? And of course, how will it affect his chances into the elections? These are conversations we'll be having today as I welcome my guest this afternoon. He is the State Director, the Center for Human Rights and Accountability Network. He is none other than Utwekong Franklin Isong. Good afternoon to you, sir, and welcome.
Good afternoon, Ike. Good to be here.
So you listened a bit to my preamble, however short that was. You must have been following, of course, I don't have to assume, because I know that that's what you do, follow political happenings in the country. Where do you stand with this statement of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu? You think it's an attack on the administration, or you think it's just a statement made in the spirit of what the people are going through?
I want to say I knew this will happen. I knew the statement will come. I knew more are going to come. Reason is not far-fetched from the APC convention that produced Asiwaju
Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
You recall before the convention that Tinubu was not the preferred candidate of Mr. President. You even recall that the national chairman of the party allegedly, had threw his weight and came up.
There was a unanimous. There was a said unanimous position about who the party wants to fail.
And then there was, that
which was the Senate president.
Yeah, and there was disagreement, and there were reactions from every angle of the aspirants. And so, even at the convention, you watch Mr. President and the
body
wife,
language,
seated. And then you watch the way the entire thing played out. You could see that Mr. President was not really happy about the outcome, but he had no option than to allow his democratic, disposition to, to maintain, some level of neutrality, pretending to be neutral in the process. But we all knew that as a president, even though he does not intend to have a candidate, his followers would want him to have a candidate. His kitchen cabinet will want to have someone that they want to, force on him, and then try to, use the office that they occupy to be saying presidency says that, and he is not somebody who always like to react. And I don't see him to be somebody who is like a media-friendly president who now and then will be calling press conferences or personally will be addressing the press. Even at the airport when he's traveling out of the country, or when he's coming in, he does not brief the press from the airport like the other presidents, like the other governors and presidents will normally do, speaking from the airport when they are leaving and when they are coming in, and personally having media chats, media parleys to, to speak as president. And so he allows his aides to now act like act his body language. And most times this body language may not be what he wants, but because he may not be given opportunity to react, and he keeps quiet, that becomes president's disposition on that issue. Most of the times, this issue may not be what president would ordinarily want to be. But when the aides speak about it and say this is what the president wants or says, and then the president himself has not come out to react to it, he allows it to stay over time. It becomes the president body language and what the president wants. And that's why most times you hear president saying he's not aware of this issue. Like, for example, when he was addressing the press, I think we went in a media parley, when he was told the hardship that Nigerians went through, he was saying that he didn't know about all these things because the aides his kitchen cabinet are not allowing him to actually get in touch with the real Nigerians. And that is why, again, when you hear him said he has fulfilled campaign promises, you see Nigerians, you see the backlash coming to and fro. And Nigerians are reacting because the president is not actually in touch. He seems to have lost touch with the reality on ground because his cabinet, his aides, seem to fence him out of the masses.
Yeah, but if I may barge in a bit, in a couple of broadcasts on some, occasions, national celebrations where the president had to address the country, he has acknowledged some of these things you're talking about. So if you say that the president has lost touch, but in his, country broadcast, he acknowledges these things, don't you think that statement will be contradictory?
Well, if you look at his, the widely publicized interview that he had, where he said he has fulfilled campaign promises, if you read the interview deeply, you will see that what he was saying was completely not in tandem with the reality on ground. For example, take the issue of petrol. He is the Minister of Petroleum, and see what is happening. He came up to put up a committee. Why would a Minister of Petroleum not tell Nigerians what is happening today? Look at the issue of this redesigned Naira note. There are controversies coming out from the National Assembly, from the Senate. The issue of the allegations surrounding the CBN governor. We had thought that the DSS had the backing of the president. We saw all the publicity made against the CBN governor, and then he came back and resumed, and nothing has happened. So this is also demarketing the country, demarketing the Nigerian, economy and the policy, and put fears in the minds of our investors. But the president does not really, come out to speak. One would have thought that it is either the DSS was playing the ostrich or the CBN governor was playing the ostrich. Either of these would have been, asked to go. But the president has not made any comment on that, on any of the issues. Rather, the CBN governor is there, the DSS is also there. These are two arms of two agencies of government operating in the same government. Seem to be a divided house. So that's why I said the president seems to have lost touch, with Nigerians and with realities, and even amongst appointees. That aside, the statement made by the APC candidate, you recall there was a rally he went when he made a statement which we all term to be mistake.
Emiloko.
No, let's even leave the Emiloko now.
Because I wanted to remind you that it was the same Ogun State
that he made this
Emiloko
statement. But I was actually going to the one that he said, God bless APC. That particular conference, that particular rally, the APC candidate was not actually campaigning based on the achievement of the government of the day, which is the APC federal government. He was campaigning based on his own achievement as the Lagos state governor. And that was why he said, when he said that Nigeria will, get worse, people were like, this was a mistake. Because they didn't actually understand that he was not actually using the basis of the achievement of the federal government. I have not actually seen him mentioned any achievement of this government and said, I'm going to work.
But he has said he's going to consolidate. He's going to consolidate.
On what?
On the achievements of President Muhammadu Buhari. He has said that.
Yeah, the point I'm making is he has not actually taken time
to enumerate this achievement.
To say this area of achievement. Like when you say consolidate now, look at the issue. You can pick the issue of fear. If he actually been saying so, why is he now picking the issue of fear subsidy and the redesigned Naira policy as part of the policy or part of the plot against his ambition? So you could see that when he made that comment, that blanket statement, he said, always saying, I'm going to consolidate. He has not already picked out achievement of the government and speak on them. So from what we have now seen from the Abeokuta rally, where he made that statement that there seemed to be a plot working against his ambition by using the artificial fuel scarcity, because it's actually artificial, because NNPC keeps saying we have enough petrol on ground. Then using the redesigned
the deadline,
note,
yeah.
even up to today.
Availability of the notes.
It's hardly seen. Even up to today, I sent my secretary to bank. She went and withdrew still the old
Naira notes.
Go to ATM, it's paying the same thing. And then you are saying...
And then the CBN has said they will sanction banks that are not complying.
And you are saying on Tuesday, this whole thing will be over. But up till today being Friday, banks are still giving out the old currency. And you are saying it by Tuesday, the whole thing will be over. So it seems to be that there is a plot here. There is a sabotage. Is it the banks? Because CBN seems to be blaming the banks. That the banks, last time the CBN governor spoke, he said, oh, that the new naira notes are available. Banks are only they are only giving out these funds to their preferred customers, the heavy ones, and then the big customers are giving the old note. That is what the CBN governor said. But as you speak, as of today, who are the preferred customers? Where are they, and where is the fund? If they are given the funds, the new naira note, by now the fund would have been circulating. That is one hand. The other hand is it that the CBN is making this policy so as to checkmate an individual?
I will have to crave your indulgence. Let's watch this video. Let's listen to the man himself, because this particular statement from him has become a topic of conversation, so much so that 80% of the newspapers headlined his comment when it came out. Let's see the video.
Ní ọjọ́ kẹ́ni a sọ fún yín lédè iná a rò pé àwọn lè dá wàhálà lẹ̀ wọ́n sabotage epo wọ́n sabotage epo arépo àlépo àrọ́kadà àrítràìsáìkù a máa lọ dìbò a máa wọlé a máa dìbò a máa wọlé. This is a superior revolution, and when I tell you, you know what I mean. You know me. You know me. We are going to go there to win. Thank you. Ẹni máa joyin inú àpáta, kò ní wẹnu àké, àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́, tó bá dẹ̀ fẹ́ jẹ èkùrọ́, wàá gbé òkúta kan sílẹ̀, wàá fẹ́ èkùrọ́ lé, wàá wá mú ọmọ òkúta, wàá là mọ́, ọmọ náà á fọ́, àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́, òjòkú bọ̀rọ̀ nìyẹn, ẹ jẹ́ kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ máa wọ́n. Àwọn náà mọ bí náà kó sí, ẹ kówó pamọ́, ẹ gbépo pamọ́, ẹ gbé náírà pamọ́, a máa dìbò, a máa wọlé, a máa dìbò, a máa wọlé.
Okay, so I may need to do a bit of translation there because I understand Yoruba language. He was saying that there is an obvious sabotage on the fuel situation because he's saying we have more than enough fuel. And whatever it is that's been done is targeted at him. And he made a statement and said that, look, whether there is fuel or not, whether the bikes, the tricycles, the kekes as they're called, whether there's transportation or not, that people will go and vote. People will vote, and that's the APC himself and his team, will come in. So that is what he's saying. So there you go. Of course, for the persons who do not understand the language, I needed to do that one. But you've heard from the man himself, though not in English, just some aspect of it that he says, you know me. When I say these things, you know me. Now, let us look at the assertion, you know me. When I say these things, you know me. Is that a statement of fact that he is privy to certain things that the average Nigerian is not privy to? Because bear in mind that yesterday, the APC came out to clarify this whole thing, to say that it's not an attack on the president, it's just a testament of what Nigerians are going through.
Okay, he also made a statement, which I think I heard that one. He said the superior revelation.
That
what he's saying,
what he's doing is a superior revolution.
He's revealing something that he knows. And if you look at it, the two variables that are in contention now, that is now in scarcity, the fuel subsidy, the fuel that is scarce now, and then the new Naira note that is also scarce, are under the president. They are under the president's jurisdiction. He is in charge of these two variables. He is the Minister of Petroleum. He's also in charge of the redesigned Naira note, because the CBN government reports directly to him. So you can see that for the APC candidate, who is presumably closer to Mr. President, who is the party leader, who knows the in and out of the government, and who knows how the president came to become president, to say this, is speaking from the superior point of understanding. He knows what he's saying. And that is why every attempt by the APC now to downplay the gravity of what he said may not actually fly. Reason is that Tinubu is a man that is a Democrat. I must give it to him. He is an advocate of justice. He recall there was a time the country, when we used to have PDP almost all over the country, he was only in Lagos and the West that you used to have the AD, and he was the governor of Lagos State under AD. And when the other states attempted to create local government councils, the president then refused to grant them the approval. He, Bola Tinubu, created 44 local government area councils and called them development centers, and those councils served throughout his tenure. And he damned Mr. President and was working according to the way he feels that the government should be run. Despite that the funds that ought to go to Lagos State we are stifled by the president, but he didn't give in. He didn't give in. So why do I give it to him that he knows what he's saying, and he's very bold to say it, is that he has an intel. There's nothing that is hidden from him. One thing you must know about politicians is that if they want to get information about you, even in your bedroom, they have a way of getting it. So for him to have come out to address that kind of large rally before the national television, alleging that these are made or plot by the president to sabotage his effort, one could give it to him that he knows what he's saying. But at
the same time, one is also tempted to ask, why would anyone want to scuttle his aspiration? Because, of course, it's not clear. The APC is saying that statement is just an open statement. It's not an affront. It's not a target. It's not an insult. It's not an indictment, so to speak, on the current administration. But the PDP is, latching on what he's saying right now. So why will anyone in the administration that, should he win, will be succeeding, want to scuttle his ambition?
I started off by giving you a background of how he became the party's candidate, and who supposedly would have been the sponsored or the preferred candidate of Mr. President, and those that the power that Bill had wanted, including the former governor of Rivers State, which was started to be the favored candidate of Mr. President. So the way he emerged, is like he defeated Mr. President. That is the way we could put it now, and then became the candidate against all odds. Now, having said this, when President Obasanjo was campaigning for late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, he personally took him around the country. He took him around. He was going around. He was the chairman of the campaign. He was going around the country campaigning for Yar'Adua and using his achievement to campaign. You can count few states where Mr. President featured in the campaign rally of the APC. You can count the few states.
Perhaps Mr. President was engaged.
No. I know he was engaged. Even the formation of the APC council,
campaign
council had some hiccup where the president wasn't in the country. The date was fixed. for inauguration, it was shifted and postponed, and then the national chairman came up. We saw a letter that he wrote and said it was being sidelined, and all those to and fro issues. So these are the things that the House is not actually together. But what they put to us in the public is that everything is intact. But we, the pundit, we know, we see beyond what they put to us that all is not well.
Another very pertinent part, if you look at the candidate of the PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, you see that a lot of the campaigns he's been at, you see the chairman of the PDP, we're talking about Yocha Ayu, present. But we haven't seen that much of Abdullahi Adamu of the APC.
You know, that is why I said here that even at the point of coming up to inauguration of the campaign council, you had lists. You saw the first list of persons who were named, and after which that list was withdrew, and that list was published again, and after which it was called off, and then the date was fixed for inauguration, and then another one came up. You saw those disagreements. You could see those in and out of disagreement here and there, because the party at a point, had told Tinubu or the campaign team, Tinubu, and said, you cannot put a different campaign team. Let the party be the one to run the campaign process. But Tinubu, because of maybe I could now allege, or I could now say, suppose that he does not have the confidence of the party or the party leadership, he now chooses to have his own campaign structure, those he could work with. And that perhaps may not go down well with the party leadership. It's not only the party national chairman. You could even see those in government. Most of them are the ones who are using the government, apparatus that they are occupying, using it to work for Tinubu. For example, Festus Kayamo. When the Minister of Labour and Productivity, Chris Ngige, appeared on a national television for an interview and was asked whether he is supporting Bola Tinubu, he was that's about it. He didn't actually come out clear about it. And this is the man who's supposed to, use his office as a minister in the government to speak, to support, to defend. But he wasn't actually coming out to defend. Especially
in his region, where he's from.
Where he's from. So you could now see that even in the campaign structure, so key persons in government who ought to be are not there. But those who are not in government are the ones who are running it. Only few persons who are supposedly loyal to the Bola Tinubu himself are the ones that are in the government, are the ones that are in the campaign structure. So, but having said this, I will not agree anything less that there are plots in the presidency to thwart or scuttle the ambition of Bola Tinubu because of the way things have gone in this country. Ideally, the APC ought to have been campaigning with the achievement of the government of the day. But in some states where the APC will go and campaign, they will be using the achievement of Bola Tinubu. They will not use the
This is where my
president.
question will come from. Has the president not done enough that the presidential candidates of the APC can campaign with? Is there nothing he can use? Because, when I was discussing with some, learned friends, and we were analyzing the name, Renewed Hope. Someone said, it sounds as though he's bringing hope that is lost. And another said, no, he's taking the hope to another level. I was in the middle, trying to understand. Renewed hope. If we look at that, how does it sound like to you as a journalist and as a public affairs analyst?
Something that is renewed simply means something has expired. Anything that one wants to renew, as a communication expert, I can tell you that thing has expired and needed to be renewed. I just renewed my good
vehicle. Okay.
Just renewed my vehicle, my car,
vehicle particulars,
because they had expired. My office DSTV scrambled because it has expired. I had to renew it. So anything that one is going to renew simply means that it has expired and become out of date, outdated. So, and needed to be made to become new, to become effective, to begin to work again. So renew hope simply means the hope that the APC brought to Nigerians had failed. And there's an attempt, there is now need to renew that hope, to say this is the APC that, that we had thought. Because if you look at, I was watching a rally in Kaduna State where Governor El-Rufai, was saying that subsidy should be, scrapped. And I think an interview, in the interview as well, it was also saying that first subsidy should be scrapped. And this is the same El-Rufai that we protested together in 2014, calling first subsidy, scam. It's coming today, after about 7 years plus, when he's in the government and he moves with Mr. Ahmed Bola Tinubu and is close to Mr. President. He's coming today to tell us that first subsidy should be scrapped, that it should be removed. So what are we now saying? The hope that we had as Nigerians when we voted for this government was the hope that they will scrap first subsidy. They will fight insurgency and bring us security. They will give us available petroleum products. The economy will be better off. But today, pick any of these indices and put on the table and then look at it. Has the government of the APC been able to, stabilize or take us away from where we were, or they are taking us backward from where they met us? So it's not left for you to answer. So that is why it is difficult for the APC candidate to use any campaign, any achievement of the government of the day at the center to campaign.
Yeah, but for some of the spokespersons like Festus Keyamo, Ajuri Ngelale, and the likes, they have used the president's achievements to say that Bola Ahmed Tinubu will consolidate on those achievements, especially in certain areas, infrastructural renaissance, which they believe the president has done well, especially in the issue of the Second Niger Bridge and certain welfare provisions that the administration has brought on board. I have listened to them, enumerated this achievement, and said that Bola Tinubu will not only consolidate, he will do better. So if you're saying that there's a departure, in what he's doing, don't forget that the spokespersons are like the man himself.
Okay, I would have asked you, if I were to be the interviewer, I would have asked you, when was the last time you heard Ajuri Ngelale and
Festus
Keyamo and other spokesperson of the APC candidate spoke using the achievement of the government of the day? I would have asked you that, but because I am here to answer questions, I will also answer it. The last time they spoke could have been 2 days ago. I could be right, because yesterday is when the APC candidate himself came up to fault the policy of the government. So if anybody has spoken before that day, this particular statement, which is now what we are discussing, has countered everything. That is as simple as clear as mirror, very pure. If anybody has spoken before yesterday, that yesterday's statement of the APC candidate himself is superior and has the overwhelming influence over and above every other statement made by his spokesperson. Here he is telling you that you know me, and I am giving you a superior revelation. They attempt to sabotage my ambition using the fuel scarcity, now using the redesigned Naira note policy. But he didn't want to go further to speak about the issue of the economy. But these two things are key to our economy. So it's simply saying that it's simply admitting that the government has failed in these two areas.
No, that may not be correct. That may not be correct.
Yeah, it may not be correct, but this could be used. Like he is saying that it's a plot to sabotage his ambition. So this means that these two indices could be used to work against his ambition. Because when he comes to campaign in Akwa Ibom, as he's coming to campaign in Akwa Ibom, if you have opportunity, we'll be asking him, go around Uyo to check. You see queues all over, and yet petrol today is sold at 350 per liter.
I bought 370 this morning.
Good.
I bought 370.
370 in the morning. I bought 350. Now it has gone to 370. By tomorrow it will become 400, and it's going. So when he's coming to speak to us, will he be bold to tell us in Akwa Ibom State that the APC government is coming to change the economy of the day? It becomes difficult. So these policies are making his campaign difficult to sell. That is why you see him using his own achievement as governor of Lagos State.
But what is wrong? What is wrong if one decides to say, okay, my predecessor has done well, but I intend to do better, and so I will use what I have done before, my antecedents, to project myself. I'm not saying my predecessor has not done well, right? But I'd rather use what you know me for. That's why I use the term you know me. You know me for. to sell myself. What is wrong with that? That is not affirming, as it were, that your predecessor has failed. Because, I mean, we need to get it right here.
No, no, no. You see, Senator Amebola Tinubu, I have given you his antecedent, his political trajectory.
History.
He's not somebody who is given to double speak. And nothing he has said it. He can never recount it. He can never, unsay it. Because before he made that statement, he has thought over it, and consult widely before he could say it in such an open rally, knowing that the government people are also there. Now, anybody could take anything out of it and conjecture for and against, which is why you see the PDP catching in, the APC also bringing in their own angle. But we as pundits who are neutral are now going to be the one that will speak for both sides of the coin. That's why I told you that I have not seen Mr. President taking his candidates around. Like when
But he has featured.
He
has featured in a couple of places.
A couple of places. There are a handful where we can easily count.
But this is a busy president. Should the president abdicate his responsibility? Should he leave his duties as a president and begin to carry the candidates of the party? Will it not be the same we Nigerians that will begin to insult him and say he has left his responsibilities?
No, you see, why it's difficult for Mr. President to even feature everywhere? It's because even when he's not even featuring, we're not seeing any improvement. So the last time they went to a state, I think they were bullying and all those things that we came and discussed it here. I said that was an open rejection of the party and the campaign message that they gave out to the people. You saw that protest where they were throwing stones and all those things.
That was in Jos.
In Jos, the president was there. The president was in that rally. After the rally, I have not seen him at any other rally again because perhaps he's scared that there could be further, his president could further be, causing bad, feelings on Nigeria. What will he be saying? That is why I picked two issues of the economy. These two issues are central. They are the nucleus of the driving of our economy. The fuel scarcity we have and the redesign narrow that is now scarce.
But don't you think the president is trying to bequeath to Nigerians a very healthy democratic system? And because, of course, one would have said that the president is expected to be a party man and then stand on the side of his party and the party's candidate. But the president wants to leave perhaps a lasting legacy that will be remembered for. Recall, the issue of the Electoral Act is one that till tomorrow everyone gives him credit for. It's something that we celebrate. So perhaps the president wants to be a true Democrat, and what is wrong with that?
I agree with you, Mr. President is one man that, when he was the head of state, he was very disciplined, and like those of us who were Buhari'S in 2000 that went to him and said, come and become president, and we believed in somebody who is disciplined because we had corruption all over. And when he was the head of state with Idiagbon, we could see what happened everywhere. You had the war against discipline and corruption, where if you are corrupt, you are fished out, you are disciplined and all those things. Go to a bank, you see queue. Everywhere you see queue and discipline everywhere, and you could see that sanity in the country. Those were those are what made us to believe that if he come to become president, that he's going to bring in discipline and sanity in the system. Unfortunately, we are disappointed because having brought him on board for 7 years, those things that we protested against the government that was there, the PDP government that was there, the issue of corruption, the issue of insecurity, the issue of the first officer that we call scammed, are still in place. They are still eating the economy.
But the president, this administration,
is becoming like is working with two legs boldly in the government.
Allow me to say a few things based on what you've said. This administration is fighting corruption. Even with persons in the party that are fingered in, issues of corruption, they are still having their days in court. Orji Kalu is there. You name it. Joshua Dari and the likes. And there are a couple of other names which I may not be able to mention at the moment, given, the fact that I'm trying to make a point. The president is making concerted efforts. You talked about the issue of security. I am not blowing the trumpet of the president, and I'm not trying to be a spokesperson, but you know that once upon a time in this country, there were certain local governments under the control of Boko Haram. Today, do we have that? Can we pinpoint a local government in the control of insurgents? and you say that the president has not done his best?
You just mentioned the issue of corruption, and you cited names like
Joshua Darie,
and
Jolly Yami and the likes, and then Kalu.
Kalu and the rest. And that reminds me of the fact that Mr. President came and gave them state pardon.
It is within, it's the prerogative of the president.
That is the point.
Haven't served time.
That's it. So now, what are we now saying? We have what is called plea bargain, which is allowed in law. We have several persons who are corrupt. Will just go behind and say, "Let me return this, and I will still." And they are relevant in the system. President had told us that names will be published. Those who are sponsoring Boko Haram, sponsoring terrorism, and the rest. Up to today, we've not seen the names. It is only when there is a backlash, you will see the minister of information live coming up to tell you, to call him those that he feels. He will call them out. But up to today, we've not known those who are behind the insurgency, the Boko Haram or those who are sponsoring the war that we are fighting with the insurgent. We have the below the chain names that persons who were named by the EU, government. Up to today, they are still there. Nobody has been arrested. Nobody has been arrested. So what are we saying? A government that is not even obeying law.
How?
Start with.
How?
It doesn't have, when the issue of Nnamdi Kanu came on, but the court has ruled.
Yeah, but
which
should prevail? Which should prevail? National security here. National security.
That's the point.
Because the condition given is that he poses a threat.
A threat. That is the point. So when the president, through his spokesperson, through his aide, the chief law officer of this country, Malami, attended the NBA conference in Abuja and said that the rule of law could be put aside in the interest of national security. We question that statement raised controversies and reactions. We ask, who defines national security? It is the president that will say this is what I call national security. Which law defines national security? That's the point. So if your face is not likened, they will use that name. They will use that name and put you behind bars. We have seen Ezazaki. We have seen Ibrahim Dazuki, and the rest are still behind bars. And court have ruled. Several court have given judgment in their favor.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what? This, like in the case of El Zazaki, like in the case of El Zazaki, you know the threat that movement posed in Kaduna. You see, Allow me. Forgive me, sir. Forgive me. I'm not trying to, hold back what you're trying to say, but I also want to make a point at the same time. In the case of Nnamdi Kanu, you're very much aware of the unrest in the southeast. Videos are popping out every week, every day, of the instability, obvious instability in the southwest in the name of a movement that he champions. So imagine if he's let off the hook.
You see, putting him behind bars, has it solved the issue? You want to, for instance, you are saying, the government is saying that disobeying the law and holding someone captive will address the issue of insecurity. Since that time till now, have you gone to the southeast to see what is happening there? You see, when you disobey laws, you breathe insecurity. That is why those who carved our laws, they were carefully about it. When you are a president, when you are the governor, don't disobey law, because when you do that, you leave those persons who are oppressed, who feel that they are oppressed, to resort to self-help. Because they will see that the law is no longer, giving them the refuge, because the law is made for the common man. But here is a government that has sat and disobeyed every court orders, every judgment given against the government. Government will disobey such orders, and then government will arraign somebody before the court, and then when the court make pronouncement, the government will say no, this judgment is not okay. They will use national security and put it behind bars. And what are we now saying? Democracy is supposed to be such that you allow power separations to work between the executive, judiciary, and the legislature. You will not be the executive as well as the judiciary. So what the president is doing now is overrule the judiciary by way of obeying the laws.
What's your point exactly?
My point is very simple. The government, that is why you see the APC candidate finding it difficult to use the APC achievement to campaign.
That's his choice. That's his choice. That's his choice. That does not rule out the fact that this administration has tried. the administration has performed
I have not
to the best of its capacity.
I like the word, to the best of its capacity, but is it enough? It's not enough.
Can you satisfy humans?
The best of the government capacity is not enough.
Can you satisfy humans?
Of course, when you came on board, you had your blueprint. You mentioned the issue of the third Niger bridge, where you have insecurity. I mean, basically can actually drive, even the railway, drive through the east-west road, the Kaduna-Abuja road. Mention it. It's virtually everywhere you see.
But the administration is dealing with it.
Is dealing with it. Of course, I agree with you. The government is trying its best. Our military men, the police, and the rest are doing their best, and I encourage them. I give them kudos for what they are doing. But lives are wasted, and the government is doing its best.
Lives were also wasted. Lives were also wasted under the PDP administration.
Areas we are in captive, like you mentioned, during the APC government, during the PDP government
administration.
Good. Now you don't have any local government council or area in captive, but people are beheaded. People have been beheaded, even right in the east.
People were beheaded under the PDP administration.
That was then, but the number of those who are being beheaded today, including the security operating agencies that are attacked. I have not heard under the PDP government. I'm not only brief for the PDP. I have followed the activities, the achievement of both government. Under the PDP government, I've never heard where INEC facilities were attacked.
That may not be correct.
But
that may not be correct.
As much as the way it is attacked now, that to the point that INEC is threatening to postpone the election or cancel it. I recall that during the time of the past of the PDP government, there was that.
There was a fear. There was a fear that made the election to be pushed forward.
That was it. No, the fear that made it to be pushed forward was that if it has been held, perhaps the fear was that the government would have lost. So that fear was that let us push it forward and see how we can, put this in place and then see how we can win. But finally, they still put it after where it was held, they still lost. But truth is that when a particular system is lawless, you allow the society to become lawless because a people get the kind of government that they deserve. Now the government also gets the kind of people that it deserves. The government is lawless, and the people are becoming lawless.
No.
The people are now trying to react, to respond to the government.
I am sorry. I'm sorry on this one. I will absolutely disagree with you.
Of course, you have the choice to disagree.
I will disagree. The government is not lawless.
You see, I have just given you a typical example. A government that will arrest people and take them to court, and the court will take time. They will spend public funds prosecuting these cases, and then the court will come up and give judgment. Instead of the government to respond to the judgment by obeying the court judgment that comes with order, government will tell the court that the judgment is wrong.
This same attitude was also obvious during the PDP administration.
That was why they were
Should we take you back to Obasanjo's administration? You also had the same thing.
That is why they are voted out. Because we felt tired of allowing lawless government to continue. The government that is obeying laws shouldn't be leading people who are Democrats. That is why we voted out the PDP government. And this government came on board and is still doing worse than what the other government was doing. And the economy is not going any further because a country that disobeys laws won't encourage foreign investors. How secure would they be? How secure when they read news? They listen. Our CBN governor will be arrested by the House of Reps, issuing him a warrant, or issuing the IGP warrant to arrest the CBN governor and bring him to the House of Reps, and the whole world is watching. And then tomorrow you will see the CBN governor in handcuffs being taken to the House of Reps to appear, and the world is watching. And then tomorrow they come and invest in Nigeria. They will come and invest.
Let me ask you, what is the likely implication for the presidential candidates of the APC with this kind of comments? If he continues on this path, what is the likely implication?
You see, you cannot continue to manage what is bad. You can only tell a lie, fool a people once, not twice, not thrice. When you try to tell one lie, you would add another lie to cover it, another to cover it. At a point, you get tired of it. When you are trying to patch up what is bad, at a point, you will get to a point where you will just get fed up of the entire thing. What the Ahmed Bola Tinubu just said in Abeokuta rally is because he's tired of the entire thing. And before he said it, he must have consulted with the president Must have,
No, I don't
must have
think.
spoken with the presidency.
I don't think.
Maybe the president.
I don't think.
Yes, I say he may have, and may have also called or had chat with the president and say what is happening. You feel that before you come and say it, that he didn't consult the president or he didn't ask to know.
Yeah,
what
but
is
who
happening.
do you blame?
That's the point.
The president designates responsibility. Do we
The
expect the president to do everything?
The buck stopped on his table. Here is the Minister of Petroleum. This is what happened in the past government that we were complaining of.
Well, you've got the NNPCL MD. Mele Carey is
that
there.
reports to him. And the NNPC is telling you that we have
You've
enough
got the
petrol.
Minister of State, Tinubu'S Silva, there.
Who is reporting to Mr. President, who is the Minister of Petroleum. The NNPC GMD have said we have enough petroleum, enough to serve Nigerians.
So is that a fault of the president?
Well, it's my fault that I'm queuing to buy petrol. We won't have enough. It's my fault as a Nigerian. It's, I mean, why people are being paid with my taxpayers' money to make sure that I am better governed. I have petrol and I buy it at an affordable price, but yet I don't have it. And I will be queuing up to buy first. In most cases, the meters are the pump are adjusted. Most cases, the fuel are being adulterated. And here we have a minister that is being paid with taxpayers' money.
Is it not also possible that the opposition can sabotage all of this just to score a cheap political point?
You see, the opposition here does not really play. The president is not in opposition. The Minister of Petroleum, the CBN governor, they are in the same government of the APC. So are they now working? Are they now sabotaging? Are they now in sabotaging their candidate that they brought forward?
Anything is possible. Someone may be working in cahoots with someone.
No, you see, these policies revolve around one man. And that one man is Mr. President. And that is why, when he said it, he said, "You know me." This is a super revolution. These are comments that he picked, that I picked from what he has said. And you know, Tinubu is the one who is given to making frivolous statements. He has said it, and he has his fact. If anyone challenges him, he can even make it public.
As your parting shot, what will be, as your parting shot, the likely implication should he continue to make statements like this that seemingly indicts the current administration?
It will make Nigerians to have belief and confidence in him that he is saying the truth. Even if he's going to say the truth and die. Like, you say the truth and lose.
Does that better his lot? Does that better his lot?
It's good to say the truth and shame the devil than say lies and feel your conscience is blaming you. So when he keep on saying the truth like this, Nigerians like us will try to detach him from the blame of the government, because otherwise we are adding everybody together, both him, his campaign machineries, his ambition to what the government has done, whether good or bad. So what he's doing now is trying to take himself out of this blame, so he can now be running his campaign without being attached to any wrong policy of the government. That will make him to be seen as a man that when he comes on board, he will not allow himself to align with any wrong government of the past government.
Will it better his lot?
Well, Nigerians will decide, because voters have seen, you know, what the government of the party has brought to us, and we are operating a political party democracy where the party sponsor candidates. So whether this will better his lot is left to be seen at the poll.
Otukon Franklin Isong has been my guest this afternoon. He is, of course, the State Director for the Center for Human Rights and Accountability Network here in Akwa Ibom State. Thank you so much, Otukon Franklin Isong, for coming around to discuss this very topical issue with me. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ike.
As I've often said, the choice is yours as a Nigerian. Do you have a PVC? Let's begin from there. If you have one, good, make use of it. And above all, irrespective of the obstacles and, issues that seems discouraging, make sure to get your PVC. Because as I've often said, at the end of the day, whether you vote for the right choice or not, or you don't vote, if it's good, good for us. If it's bad, we die here. My name is Ikechukwu Jue. I leave you with that. I'm out of here. Let's talk security, current affairs, governance, politics, your view, elections, rule of law, economic issues, foreign events on the Talking Point. Talking Point, weekdays on this channel.
ABN Television is seeking a highly competent and qualified person with not less than 10 years working experience in news reporting, editing, as well as news management for the position of Head of News and Current Affairs for both radio and television. To apply, kindly send a cover letter attached with your CV to abntv@yahoo.com no later than Friday, January 27th, 2023. Signed, Management.
Nigeria is a great country, blessed with human and natural resources. Born on October 1st, 1960, and like a child who's grown into an adult, has faced her own share of challenges. But Nigeria has the capacity to fulfill her destiny. With great minds and great leaders, a bright future is guaranteed. Though tribes and tongues may differ, her beauty is in the diversity.